Well, hello, this is Michael with Brainy Face Project, and I have an update here for the application that I've been working on for the past few weeks. This is my Promptbuilder. I love this application. I legit am having so much fun building out this application. So the first thing I want to say is thank you to the community members who have expressed interest in becoming one of the beta testers, and I just wanted to say it's been great, getting the emails and checking out your work. Got some really talented people out there. One photographer who is just like blowing my mind from England with the incredible work that he's doing. So nice to meet you virtually. And for those of you who would like to be a beta tester, depending on when you watch the video, like it may already be closed out because I'm pretty close to where I wanted to be in terms of the number of beta testers. So I'm a couple weeks out from actually getting a couple more technical things done that will enhance the functionality of the application in terms of importing and exporting and just logistically how the JSON is working. That's kind of like the boring but very functional stuff. The application's working great as is, but today I wanted to talk about what I've actually been doing over the past week or so, which is a meme editor that I built into the application. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to build out a couple fun memes, and we're going to use the toy profile, kind of like the vinyl pop bobblehead toy thing that I showed in another video. And let's just go ahead and jump right in here. If you want to be a beta tester, by the way, and I don't know, again, the timing may not work out, but find my email on the channel, send me an email. I'll write back and let you know if there are any slots open still. But a couple more weeks and I should be able to do the beta testing, and then after that the application will be in the wild, as they say, and available. So all right, let's turn off the camera here. If my Elgato device has been really slow today. Okay, there it goes. So in the application, I have the ability to store JSON data. You all know that if you've been following this. I'm not going to get into the weeds on how the application works. I'd rather just focus on the new features. This is my 7th update video, so if you want to go back to the first one, you can see why I did it. And then along the way, I've just been adding tons of new features. But I've got like this image right here. This is one that I did. This is the Hide the Pain Harold toy meme. And so we've got the elderly gentleman who seems like he's in pain in the photos, and that's a pretty common meme. So what I did is I created a JSON prompt which looks a lot like that, and if I load this up, if I right click and say launch first linked image, I can see that I've got this basic image here. It's not perfect, no image is perfect because his legs have been cut off, and maybe that's why he's in pain, is because his legs have been cut off, but primarily he's got a bandage on his finger. So let's go ahead and turn this into a meme. And if I go to tools and I go to my meme editor, I can see that I've already got this meme that I've created. So the idea is I create a prompt, and then I make an image out of that. I bring the image in, and then I can use my meme editor to actually affect the image, like the text that I want on the screen. So in this case, like if I want to do this, I'll just change yesterday to today, and you can see that it's got a dynamic preview. So when I type on the screen, it changes what's on the screen. If I change the font, it changes the font on the screen as well. I can change the color if I want to. I can actually change the text color by typing in manually the RGB hexadecimal equivalent in this box, or just use the color picker. And if I change the color picker colors, I can just do that. It changes it really quickly. I can also match skin tones or other colors. Like if I wanted to do the green from the plant, I just click pick screen color. I can move this out here, click on the green, and it automatically selects my RGB hex value. And very easy to use. Now, I am pretty lazy. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If I do something twice, I'm looking to automate it, and I wanted to incorporate this into the application as well. So when it comes to text sizing, instead of you just clicking and changing the font like that, what you can also do is just double click. So on these labels, like for top font size, if you double click, it mathematically goes in and it figures out the right size to put the font, so you have a little bit of border around the edge. Same same thing with the bottom font size. So that's a nice way for you to be able to size really quickly. I changed the font color already to green, but if you wanted to go to the standard defaults, like usually a font is white and it's got a black outline. So if I double click on the text color, it sets it to white, and then I can double click and it sets it to black, and then I can change the outline stroke. So those are the basic features. For me, this is all I really wanted from my own meme editor. I don't like using the ones online because they're usually riddled with tons of like pop-ups, and I don't trust a lot of those. They're clunky. They work, but I just wanted to build my own meme editor. This was kind of on my list of things I wanted to code out, and I thought, why not put it right here in the application? So I do have the ability to double click on each one of these to expand and collapse these. If I go into crop, you can see, like, let's cut off Harold's head here. I'm going to do 200. So we cut off his forehead, and then I can cut off the bottom like that. So yeah, you've got the ability to do basic cropping, hit reset, and it brings it back. It's non-destructive to the original image. And then if you want to as well, if you have a slower computer, let's put this nicely. If you have something that's computationally expensive, like the ability to generate on the fly like this, older computers may not do as well. So if that's the case, you got an older computer, you can choose view and turn off the live preview. And if I do that now, like, I'll change the font to this one, and I'll change the color to this ugly purple, and nothing's changing on the screen. That's because I turned off the live preview. You can see there's no check mark, but when you turn it off, it puts this big refresh preview button at the top, and you can either click on that or press the ubiquitous F5 key on the keyboard. That's the standard keyboard shortcut for refresh, and when you do that, it's going to update automatically like that. So it lets you do it instead of like moving things around and it being really slow. You can just make all your changes and click refresh. So I'll like reset this to the bangers. I'll actually do Anton font, and I'll do double click on the text color and the outline. We'll do refresh. That looks good. We're going to fit the text font size by double clicking, and that should automatically update. Why not? Because we have to click refresh preview. What if I turn off the live preview? If I turn that back on, there we go. Now everything is automatic, and so that's just cool. It just automatically does it. With these fonts, by the way, these are commercially available fonts. Like, you don't have to pay for these or license these. So I included a few. I might drop in a couple more, but the nice thing about it is I built this where there's a fonts folder. So if you have a TrueType font or an OTF font, you can actually drop them in, and when the application loads, it'll parse those in and it'll recognize those as well. So if you're a designer and you have commercial fonts that you're using and you want to do this, whatever. Maybe your client wants to do a funny meme and use their font, or you wanted to do something with a font you designed, then you'd just be able to import that font into the folder. So the key of this is when you go into save meme image as, then I'm just going to store this out here to a folder on my computer. I've got this, I think it's blank in here. Hide the pane Herald, and let's say save, and then it asks you a couple questions. Would you like to update the default meme settings? So it knows all these settings here and it remembers them. And what it does, I've designed this so it actually stores all of the settings in the profile. So when you have a profile that you've set up in the prompt builder and you do a meme, it stores all those settings. So the next time you open up the meme editor, in that profile, it remembers all the settings. And so you could do different profiles that have different fonts, different background images. It's like really customizable and really repeatable as well. So I do want to save that. And then it asks you if you wanted to save the image as a link in the notes and link section. So I have the ability to do notes and links inside of each profile, and I'll just demonstrate this. I'll say yes, and I can close the box because it's going to save it. We'll show that. I'll come back in a second and do it again. But if I open up my notes and links, now you can see that I had my original blank image that I had stored in there previously, but this is the one it just created. It's the meme generated. So it just asked me, and it automatically created a link to the folder that I stored it in. It paid attention, it made a note of it, and if I open the containing folder, it'll actually bring me into the folder where I stored that image. And what's cool about this is, like, one of the technical features that I'm building in is the ability to import and export out profiles. So if you want to share either with yourself across different computers or share with somebody else the profiles that you've built, you're going to be able to do that and also store all of those assets. All right, so let's go in and do another one here. We're going to do Boromir from Lord of the Rings, and we'll open this up. And if I go in here to notice that I've got this set up in the application. So these are built-in fields. And if they aren't part of your workspace, remember last week I showed you workspaces where you can actually set up multiple profiles based on client names or different hobbies, different interests. So you can have like these different portfolios of your profiles. I call those the workspaces. Well, if for whatever reason you didn't have these meme top text and bottom text, the meme editor's smart. It'll create those for you, and it works bi-directionally. So like in this case, it says one does not simply cancel their Adobe subscription, right? That's that classic Boromir meme. And so I'm going to change this to like one does not simply skip breakfast. And if I go into the meme editor now, notice that it's automatically going to read those values from inside. So if you changed your profile, it'll pull that information into the meme editor and it'll put that in. And of course I can change this. This works both ways. So I'll change this to cancel Adobe subscriptions. So one does not simply cancel Adobe subscriptions. When I close this out, it'll ask me, do you want to save to profile? And then it automatically changes the text in the background. So I just thought that was a nice touch, is to go bi-directionally where it would do the updating both ways. That way you didn't have inconsistencies. And so all of these values are stored inside the profile itself. Now with this, I can also, I can change this font here. I can go in here and do my Anton font. I'll do the double click so it fits. And this is nice for me to be able to go in here and change all these settings really quickly. This looks good to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and do save meme image as. And then I do have the ability to resize as well. So I didn't mention that before, but if I want to, I can change the width and height of the image. They are constrained, so it's smart enough to know, like, this is a square object, so it's going to constrain this to the same width and height. But if you had like an aspect ratio of 16:9, it'll automatically do the math for you. And so I could say resize, and I could say like 512 pixels. And then when I go in and save that image out to my images folder, and say Boromir, Adobe. Why is it so hard to cancel Adobe subscriptions, Adobe? People are suffering, man. They go to cancel and you charge them hundreds of dollars, even if they are only a few days away. Would you like to update the default meme settings? I'll say yes. Would you like to add a link? Yes. And I'm good to go. All right, so that is super duper cool. One quick side step here. I'm going to show you two additional features that I added in. The first is I have a scratchpad. So I have the ability to go in, like I was working on a prompt before. Let me just go ahead and clear this out. And a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm working in like Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, and I have a couple different prompts or 2 or 3 different prompts, and I want to combine one element with another to kind of Frankenstein them together in a good way. And so I usually used an external notepad editor like Notepad++, and it's just always I'm like going back and forth. So I added this scratchpad, and what you can do then is you can just take like the instruction prompt. I got the right click built in, so you copy, then I can just paste that, and then I could go in here to a different profile. I'll just load one up. I'll just do a Shift F5. Okay, this is good because it's a Midjourney prompt. I actually did a video. I did a music video because I'd never done one before, and so I did a music video on the channel here. It was a lot of fun. And so I'm going to take this prompt, I'll right click, and then I'll paste this in. And so like you can combine these prompts together. I built in I'll close this first, so I'll show you from the menu bar. I built in find and replace capability. So if you do a search and you could say like VHS tape, and I could do a search for next and it highlights that. If I wanted to go in and do a replace, I could do, you know, like I just say, I don't know what I'm going to say, from the early 90s. I'll just say 90s and replace with 1990s. And I'll do replace all. It found one instance. So pretty straightforward. I mean, this is not rocket science, but I just built this in. So you've got your scratchpad. If you close it, it's just easy to bring back. You can press F12 on the keyboard. You can move this around the screen, and it just gives you a convenient way to go in and modify the prompts. Because then what you could do is you could just highlight, you know, do a copy. I'll close this out. And then I did build that in last week I showed you, but you can actually replace what's in the whole prompt. You can right click and say replace with clipboard, and then you could actually have all the enhancements that you made in this box. And so it's just a nice little editor. And I'm going to undo that, undo the replace with clipboard, because I don't want to screw up that original prompt. So that's all good. And then the other thing that I did here is I added, let me just load a profile here. I'll go into load and I'll go into my reveals and just pull up one of these, like this dog. My dog's always hungry. It's Friday night. My dog's going to want a little piece of pizza crust tonight. So I built this prompt out where it just highlights the object, like the stomach of the dog, and then it has the other section of the dog. Well, what I could do is I could do a profile save as, and then I could just call this like we'll do a wall safe with jewelry in it. And I'm going to store this in the reveals folder. And this is the difference. So I changed the logic on this. Instead of being prompted with like 4 or 5 different screens where each time it goes, oh, you've got a thumbnail. Do you want to keep it? Oh, you've got notes and links. Do you want to keep them? Oh, you've got a snippet link. Do you want to keep it? I found that was a lot of friction. And so I decided to consolidate it into one screen. And what I didn't have before is the ability to copy tags. I may have mentioned that on the last video. And so I now have the ability to copy tags and do on-the-fly editing. So if you have a check mark here, this is all these are checked, it'll copy it over. Like I can turn off the thumbnail, don't copy the thumbnail. And then for this one, I can copy the existing tags, but I could do like wall safe, I could do jewelry. And so now it's going to automatically, dynamically edit those tags into the new profile. And then the snippet link, of course, that's the view of all of the different key value pairs that I want to show up for that profile. If I'm working in Midjourney, I can focus on Midjourney. If I'm working in Stable Diffusion, I can show only those prompts. And so that's where I get a lot of the power here of being able to drag and drop. So if I say OK, then I can see like I've got this clean interface, and I would just change this to like, I manually have to go in and change obviously the values, but I would just say a wall safe in a luxury library / den, and then the secondary subject would be an expensive Rolex watch and a stack of cash. And I'll just run that. I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but I'll just click and drag this over. Does all the JSON, and we'll see how that looks in a minute. All right, so that was the other thing that I added. Now let's go in, and we're going to go back here to our meme, and let's just go ahead and create a brand new one. Let's go into, like, I've got the Gandalf wizard here. Let's load him up, and then we're just going to use that as kind of a template here. So I'm going to move this over to the right. I think yeah, you can see, I live in Atlanta, so it took 45 minutes to go 2 miles. A wizard is never late. Whoops, didn't want the scratch pad. We'll close that. Meme editor, that's what I want. Okay, yep, and I did this one actually before I added all this auto sizing. So yeah, so I need to go in, change that. I'll turn off the auto wrap. There we go. That looks good. I'll save that to the profile. Next time I'll load it up, it'll pull up the right font size and everything else. So, oh, there we go. That was actually very fast. So let me go back. I'll press F4 on the keyboard to jump back to my blueprint wall safe. And so that looks cool. I'll just take that, download it, and we'll put that as the thumbnail here. And good. Very cool. And I just did that as a quick example to show you what that prompt looked like and how I was able to copy it over quickly. All right, so going back to Gandalf the Wizard here, let's go ahead and make a new meme. We're going to take a classic idea from a meme and we're going to turn this into an image so that I can put it into like a base profile that I could use to very quickly go in and use it to make a meme whenever I want to, really, really fast. So what I'm going to do is I'll start out here with, maybe we'll do two of them. You don't have to stick around for both of them, but I'll show you how to do the first one because I'm still testing the application. This should work pretty well, but I'm just going to take this JSON. So the JavaScript object notation, I just click the copy button and I'm going to copy the filtered items. So it's only going to copy all of the fields from my database which relate to this toy. And let me click cancel actually because I want to clear these. I don't want it to think that I should have text in here. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and I'm going to say use this JSON data to create a new JSON file that will be used to create a meme for the disaster fire girl. And then I'll just paste that. I think that's a pretty standard one, right? Everybody knows that classic meme of the little girl standing in front of the house with the fire truck and the house that's burned down. Oh, it's funny. Like, it's thinking on the fly, too. So it's very cool and scary to see AI sometimes do its thing. So it's putting in, like, already, this is fine. I did a little arson. Yikes. And then it's changing all of the color scheme. It's taking all the attributes that I built in the profile and filling it in now with all of the stuff, injection molded plastic. She's got a dark zip up jacket. All of these things, all of these values I could change, but it's doing most of the work. I didn't even need to give it the original image, which is really cool, right? You can upload an image to ChatGPT and ask it to analyze, but it already knows what the meme is. Everybody knows what the meme is. So all I have to do is copy what it did. I'll go to JSON, import. I'll just paste that JSON data and I'll do fire disaster girl meme. I'm going to put this in my memes folder here. I'm going to click. I'm trying to do shortcuts and I'm not getting there. Okay, memes, import. So now it's been imported and it'll ask me, do I want to switch? I say yes. And Gandalf had unsaved changes. Do I want to save? I don't want to save because I had cleared the text before, so I'm going to say don't save. Let's see, what do we got? Tiny fire truck toy accessory, half melted. This looks cool. But notice how I've got all of these other like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion prompts over there. When I import, it shows me everything in the database. That's where the snippet focus filter comes in. So all I have to do is link to, and I've got this new meme toy, and I just say save link, and then it just cleans it up and it shows me only those values that are relevant for the field. And now I can type in the meme top text and bottom text, but what we want to do right now is just create the basic image. So I'm just going to click and drag. Remember, I've got drag and drop support here, so I click and drag and it builds out the JSON for me. I click submit and then just wait for a second here for it to create the image. All right, that took about 2 minutes, and I have a beautiful toy here that is a perfect homage to Fire Girl, and that one looks really good. She looks, I don't know, they're both good. These are both actually excellent. I think I like the one where she's got her hand in her pocket because maybe she's got matches in her hand or a lighter or something like that. Let's go ahead and set this as the thumbnail. So all I have to do is just do download. I'm in Chrome. I just click and drag that, and I've got my thumbnail set up really easily. And now what I'll do is I'll just do the original, or I'll do the whole image, and then I'm just going to drag this over into the folder. So now I've got the full size image, and now I can rename this. I like to right click and say copy name and folder, and then I'll just rename the image itself. That way I know what the prompt or the profile name is and the folder that it's in. And now we can actually proceed with making the meme. So we'll just go into Tools, Meme Editor, Load Image. I will go into that folder, double click, so we've got our image. And I'm just gonna, let's see, what do I have? I'll just make up something stupid here. Asked AI to debug my code. It rewrote my repo with cat memes. And then I can just do the double click. I'll turn off the word wrap there, and double click on the top padding and bottom padding, and that easily now I've got my meme. And so I can save that out. I'll put it in a folder here, into my test folder, into images, and I'll say Fire Girl and then AI code. And then we'll keep the same size. And then it'll ask me, do you want to update? I'll say yes. And do I want to do a link? Yes, I do. And so, yeah, that easy now. I've got the ability to go in whenever I want to. I could do a save as and just keep this as a blank prompt, or I could just go in whenever I want to make a change here. I could change these values. But the other thing I can also do is I can save these out. So I have the ability to save a template. And what I could do is I could just save this out, and I could call this Fire Girl. And then whenever I want to, I could just load that template in. Like I've got another one here, like the Boromir. So yeah, you can load those JSON files as well. So you can basically overwrite what's in the profile itself. You can just open up temporarily, and you can pull in those things separately. So I have the support for JSON files where you can save it as a JSON file, and you can also load those JSON files. And in this case, let's see. Let's see. Okay, good. So it was smart enough too. It didn't actually overwrite because I loaded the template. It didn't overwrite. It will always ask me, do you want to overwrite? So I've got the original settings because they're stored in my profile. So I don't know. I'll probably just do one more. So I'm done with the video. You don't need to watch anything else. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the good YouTube stuff. It really does help the channel, helps me out. I appreciate that. But for those of you who just want to see me do one more meme creation, I'm going to do quite a few more probably this evening. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do this really quick. I wanted to do the most interesting man in the world. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm going to copy my JSON. I'll do the copy filtered. I want to actually clear these out. Let me clear these. And then I'll copy JSON, copy filtered. And then I'll say, let's do the most interesting man in the world with his beer bottle. And make it a gold pedestal base. And I actually didn't even need to copy because I have one active working session in ChatGPT. All I did, it remembered my JSON profile from before. So it's just basically using that same template, and it's pre-populating it. Okay, so it also, would you like me to save this as a downloadable JSON file? If I said yes, the JSON importer also has the ability. Remember, I've got it set up where you can actually import JSON files in there as well. But the copy paste just works well. I just do copy, we'll do import JSON, I'll do paste, and then I'll do most interesting man. and the world vinyl toy meme, and we'll put that in the memes folder. It's imported. Do we want to open it? Yes. Do I want to save Disaster Girl? I'll say yeah, save. And now I'm going to go in and do the snippet link, and then I'll link to my meme toy, and that'll clean up the interface here. Got only the stuff I want. It put in some stupid text here. I'm just going to clear that. I don't always bobble, but when I do, it's legendary. Okay, so now I'm just going to drag this over. And again, I could drag this to ChatGPT, but I like dragging over to Sora because it does 2 up. So it actually gives me 2, or if I wanted to, I could say like 4 images. You could do 1 if you want, but I usually do 2 up. And before I click submit, I just want to check to see what else is in here. No nameplate. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. I didn't want a nameplate on that. And let's see what we get. All right. We have quite a difference between these two. This one looks like almost realistic. I think I like the one on the right hand side better here. It's a little bit more cartoonish, so I'm just going to save this one here. And we'll download, we'll drag over. So we've got that. I'm just going to take and drag that over into my folder. So now we've got the full size image. I'll right click and say copy name and folder, and then I will paste the name. And now I can go in here and create a meme out of this. So I'll load the image, go into the folder, double click, there we've got the dude. And now I'll just say I don't always use ChatGPT, but when I do, it asks me for help. And we'll double click, turn off the auto word wrap. We'll do the bottom padding, top padding, and there we go. And I think I am. The more I use this, I want to do an auto fill with all of these values, so it'll just do tidy, kind of a tidy up feature there. But that looks good, so we're going to export that out, save meme image as, and we'll just save that into the same folder. Most interesting man, and then ChatGPT. And then it'll ask me, do you want to update? Say yes. And do I want to save it to notes and links? And I say yes. So, all right, cool. That's it. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to keep doing this, but again, thanks for all of your support, and have a great weekend or a great day. Take care. Bye.